This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jim Schaller.
Good morning, good neighbors. This is episode number 64 of the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. Today we have good neighbor Shannon Willits from Club Pilates, and welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yes, pleasure to get to know you. So why don't we just jump right in, and why don't you start by sharing a little bit of what you guys do over there?
Perfect. Yeah, so Club Pilates is a national Pilates. It's actually an international Pilates franchise in Lee County, my region. We have 4 studios open in Cape Coral. We have 2 in Fort Myers, 1 in Estero, and we're growing. We're planning another studio in Cape Coral, so we'll have 2 there, and we'll be opening, in Bonita Springs.
Wow, that's
this
exciting.
Year.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, yes, so fun.
You guys have been around for a while then, huh?
Yeah, definitely. We've been in the region since 2017.
Wow. Okay. Growing with the community because it's
Totally.
it's growing around here. So how did you get involved with all this?
So I'm a career Pilates instructor. So I've been teaching since 1999.
Wow.
And my master trainer, Matthew, I was watching him and he was working with Club Pilates. And so I got really curious. And he's like, Shannon, the studios are awesome. The business is really great. And the instructors are great. So I walked into one and it was in an instant. It blew my mind because they had everything that I'm certified in. And I was like, I could do this.
It was like a match made in heaven, right?
It was just a perfect fit. So yeah, my husband and I, he's always, gotten behind me in opening studios. So this was, it was really timely too, because I was dying for a classroom. I was teaching privates out of my house because, I was injured. I had injured myself. So I was getting a little bored.
Right. Getting a little antsy, right?
A little bit.
You want to get out. Well, that's good. That's awesome. So you mentioned you had an injury. Has there been maybe something along your journey that's a challenge or an obstacle that you kind of look back at now and say, hey, it's put me in a better place and I'm,
Sure. Yeah. I can go back to my first Pilates class, actually, Cabo. I had chronic low back pain. I was fit. I was flexible. I worked out all the time. And, I took a mat class and I was blown away by it, honestly, because it was so challenging for me. I mean, just the simplest things, bring your when you're laying on your back and you bring your legs up into what we call tabletop, and then doing these little toe taps, incredibly challenging to my core. And I was astounded. After an hour, I felt worked out. I felt strong and my back pain was gone. And that was a game changer for me. And I honestly have never looked back. I mean, I was out in the field working in sales and I just traded in those pantyhose and high heels for leggings and bare feet and never looked back.
And feeling better, right?
Feeling better.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, I always say Pilates is the secret to longevity because it's for everybody. Everybody can do Pilates. Doesn't matter their age, sincerely, their fitness level. It doesn't matter because it meets you where you are. And it's, can be level appropriate. It's beautiful.
So for those people out there, our listeners that don't know what Pilates is, could you explain that a little bit?
You got it. So the Pilates method, it's a system of exercises that all originate from the quote core. And the core is stimulated through the breath. And the core is, your abdominals, of course, everybody probably knows that by now. But it's also your back body your pelvic muscles, that's really the core, the diaphragm. And so every single movement, including, let's take, for example, like a bicep curl. On the inhale, you straighten your arm. On the exhale, you purse the lips and blow it out. And that stimulates your abdominals. And then you execute the bicep curl. And so everything that we do is in that kind of sequence. And that's why it's so profoundly effective. We focus on joint neutral, spine neutral. And that alignment focus is why my back stopped hurting and why, Pilates is used by physical therapists all over the world now.
That's interesting because I've had back problems like most people have.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you do have those issues, how you realize how everything's connected. You
Truly.
may have back problems, but you're doing something with your leg and it's affecting your
Well,
your back.
great job on the awareness of that, because so often we have back pain and we go to the chiropractor or whoever, right? And they're like, working on your back, and it's actually coming from your hip
Yep.
or your
And
foot.
it's interesting. So are there any myths or maybe misconceptions about Pilates that we could clear up for our listeners?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Pilates is for everybody. That's one. That is a big one. I mean, some people think it's just for women. Our studios, we have a lot of men. A lot of men are now coming in for Pilates because they've heard, that it's really good for their back. And, athletic performance, we work with a lot of golfers, and female and male, because they want to improve their performance in their sport. We have a lot of, older people coming in, men and women alike. And, their program looks different than, say, the athlete, but we can meet everybody where they are. Some people think that Pilates is a lot of stretching. And while there is flexibility built into every exercise, right? We focus on the lengthening aspect of the exercise, but at the same time, we focus on the strengthening aspect. So it's both. We're meeting both of those needs. So if you do Pilates, you don't need to stretch afterward like a traditional exercise program.
Interesting. Very interesting. I love that. So I know your job is very demanding with the number of studios you have. Is there something you enjoy doing outside of work?
Well, I love hanging out with my kooky 7-year-old granddaughter and my rescue dogs. That's really fun. I love to dance. I like the West Coast swing. I play pickleball. I know my friends out there can't see me, but I've got a pickleball shirt on. I work with a lot of pickleball players. They're coming into the studio, they're getting injured. A lot of them fall down. The joke is that, during the pandemic, pickleball got the 60-year-olds off the couch, and out onto the pickleball court. So, they come into the studio looking to prevent injury and, work on their performance. So that's a lot of fun.
That is staying active. That's important. So Southwest Florida, are you from here originally?
Well, I'm actually from North Carolina originally. My family's from Miami, though, so I consider myself a Floridian. I grew up in Tampa, went to school in Tampa, moved to Sarasota. So I live in Sarasota with my husband, but I'm also in Fort Myers every week. I'm hands-on with our team. I run the teacher training program here in Southwest Florida. We, Club Pilates, we have the Southwest Florida Club Pilates Academy. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a course. I'm starting a course this week, Friday. I have 14 people signed up in that class. It's crazy, the growth and the demand for Pilates instructors is huge because I was reading in Forbes, actually, by the year 2030, I mean, the Pilates industry is just blowing up. It is on fire. And I mean, there'll be a Pilates studio on every corner. There's a huge demand for instructors. I run 3 courses a year. That's a lot of courses. That's a lot of people going through. But it's really rewarding and it's really fun. And it's a wonderful career. It's an active career. The money is good. You can make a good living teaching Pilates. And, you get to meet a lot of really interesting people, very diverse. You never get bored. That's for sure.
That is great. That is great. Is there anything else that our listeners should know about Club Pilates that maybe they don't know?
Well, we do a free introductory class, and that's really nice. It's a 30-minute introductory class, and you get to come in and see what the studio looks like and see the equipment, because it's a little bit, you haven't really seen equipment like this before. It can be a little intimidating. So, you come in and we show you the equipment and how it works, and you get a trial class. After the class, most people do sign up, and we have memberships available to meet everybody's needs and schedule. We're open 7 days a week. We start at 6 a.m. We generally have classes on the hour throughout the day, and we end at about 8:30 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a long
crazy.
day.
We're busy.
But that fits everybody's schedule, so there's no excuse not to show up.
Yeah. We do private training in our studios too, just in case, people aren't quite ready to jump right into the classroom, because we are group Pilates. There's 12 people in a class. But the instructor's there. She's comprehensively certified with a minimum of 500 hours of her certification. And she's watching everybody walking through the room, cueing the exercise, helping you become mindful of what you're doing, and correcting if your form is, needing a little tweak or whatever. So it's really nice. You walk into the studio, you have to let go of your stress, your day to day. And just for that 1 hour, you check into your body, and you check out from the world. It's really great.
And everybody needs that. Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, everybody needs it. Everyone needs Pilates.
So how would our listeners go about getting a hold of you or if they wanted to come by, if they're interested in signing up or checking it out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the web is always the best way. Clubpilates.com, Fort Myers West, Fort Myers Central, Estero, and Cape Coral West.
And soon to be Cape Coral too.
Woo! Cape Coral, and we're going to Pine Island and Del Prado, and Bonita is to be determined, but we're talking with them right now.
Wow. Love it. Hey,
thanks,
Shannon. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and learn a little bit more. And I need to stop by and see you soon.
Come on in. Yeah, I'd love to see you. Come take one of those free intro classes.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpestero.com. That's gnpestero.com or call 239-296-2621.